Hey everybody, welcome to Bones Collector, and today I'm doing a video that I'm very excited about, and it's a video about the top 10 games that you won't believe I own. A lot of times I tell everybody, I tell you guys basically that I have parameters for the types of board games that I really like, Lori and I, and they have to play great at 2-player, play within an hour time frame, back in the box, and no player elimination games, those kinds of things. Not too complex, not too simple, just that right level of complexity. Well, sometimes games don't fit within those parameters. So that's what this video is about. I'm going to enjoy telling you about some games that are in my library that you just won't believe. So before I start that though, a couple of videos ago I made a statement that there are 30 games in the Board Game Geek Top 100 I would never play again. And someone responded to that and said, I'd like to know what those games are. But here's my answer. I'm not going to tell you because you may own that game and I don't want to hurt your feelings. Laura and I play, we play so many board games, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of board games. And I've watched another hundreds and hundreds of them played online. So I just don't want to use this medium or this YouTube channel to trash board games. I have played hundreds of awful board games, but I don't want to talk about them. I just want to talk about the ones that I really enjoy playing, that have that key element that we're looking for in board gaming, and that's fun. So without any more talk about that, I'm going to talk about what this video is about. So here we go. I'm going to talk about top 10 games you won't believe I own. The first two games I'm going to talk about are on the high side of that complexity level. They are games that are a little more difficult to bring to the table because of the time frame that it takes to play them and because of the set of rules. The rule set is pretty arduous and long, and so those games don't fit those parameters that I usually make top 10 lists out of. But let's go with game number one, and game number one is a game from Mindclash Games. It's called Anachrony. The designer is David Turksey, and David is a well-known board game designer. We really enjoy playing this game. Anachrony is a game about post-apocalyptic future. I can't say that. And so it's a very interesting theme. But it's about time travel. It's a worker placement game at its core. And you place those workers and take different actions and so forth. But you can also have a time track. You do have a time track below the board. And on that time track, you can move back and forth in time and borrow goods from yourself. And you have to pay them back. If you don't pay them back, it causes an anomaly or something and causes problems. We really enjoy playing this game. Now, it is long. It probably takes this. I think the box actually says that 30 minutes per player, but I think it takes a little longer than that, especially if you don't play it all the time. And that's the reason why I don't have too many complex games, because when you have a game like this, when you go to play it, if it's been 3 or 4 months since you've had it to the table, you're going to have to do a rules review, and that's going to take some time. I've had games where we've had to review the rules for an hour before we played it, and I just don't like that. When games get that complex, it isn't worth keeping them. But I love Anachrony, I love the theme of this game, and I love these little minis that come with, or that you can get for the game, and the minis are pretty cool. If you've never played Anachrony, these minis in this game are pretty cool because they're your workers. And the workers are little tiles that you're going to use, and they slip right in the slot in the top of that mini. So that the entire game, whatever color you happen to be, you have 6 of these miniatures, and those are your workers. You're going to place them on the board and take different actions. And that's pretty cool because in this world where we're at, humans can't survive without a mech suit on. So you have to have these mech suits, and that's what those minis represent. And you put the little workers in them and place them wherever you happen to want action you want to take. And it's pretty cool. And someday I hope to paint these, and people online have done a remarkable job of painting these and making them look tremendous. I just don't have the time right now. Once I retire, which will be pretty soon, I'm going to paint these and have fun doing so. But Anachrony, wow, it's a great game. This is the second time I've purchased this game. It was a Kickstarter that we had gotten a few years back when it came out, but the box was like 3 times this big. So I don't know why that was, but when I saw this little box, I said, you know what? And Lori loves this game. So she talked me into, hey, let's get that game back. And we did. We got Anachrony back. It's a smaller box. Even the minis box is smaller. So I really, really enjoy that game. And that's the first game I talked about today, and that's Anachrony. And it's a wonderful, wonderful game. Again, it's a little more complex than what we usually talk about. And that's why we're doing this video. Game number 2 that I want to talk about today is another complex game that takes a long time to play. It's called Mage Knight by Vlaada Chvátil. Now Vlaada Chvátil he's the most eclectic board game designer that I know of. He's done Code Names, Dungeon Pets, so many, Tash Kalar. I love Tash Kalar. Lori didn't, so it had to go. And he's done so many great games, and one of them is Mage Knight. Now for me and some others, I mean, I think Mage Knight is fantastic. I love this game. I love it more than Gloomhaven, and I played Gloomhaven for quite a while to get a feel for that game. I backed it on Kickstarter, got it home, played it. We had it on our table for 6 weeks. I'm sure I've told you this story before. And played it, and I just didn't have fun. And I'm telling you this, if it's not fun playing the game, get rid of it. You have to have fun playing the game. And that's what I have in this game, because I like having art on the cards. It just gets you more involved in the game, and I love the way this game is small in scope. The tiles that you lay out in this universe, this Mage Knight universe, are all right in front of you, and you are getting mana and trying to gather what you need to topple 2 cities. It comes with painted miniatures. I'm taking the lid off. All right, let's take the lid off this game. I'll talk about these rule books in a minute. That's a mana board and scoreboard, and then this is the box, as you can see, and the miniatures come painted. I love that. And then the cities that you have to battle and topple they got like little hero clicks thing in them. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but they change their value, and I really enjoy that. And then you have all these tokens that come with it, and all these cards that come with it. And I bought this game at a flea market for $25. The shrink had been taken off of it, but the cards weren't open, and nobody had ever played this game. 25 bucks. I said, what the heck, I'm gonna give it a shot. So I bought this game, brought it home, and I make Lori play it with me. She's not real fond of these types of games, but she plays with me because she knows that I have fun doing this particular one, and I really enjoy it. It's Mage Knight. I wanted to tell you about it. The painted minis are beautiful, and I don't know, I wish more board game publishers would do that. I wish they would paint them. Send them to me painted. But for the most part, all you get are those gray globs of plastic. And if you don't paint, you're stuck with those just looking like that. And I think there are hobbyists that love to paint minis, and hey, that's great. If you enjoy doing that, that's great. But I like it when a board game publisher, and I think Mindclash actually did this when they put out their Kickstarter for Cerebria, you had a choice whether you wanted painted minis or not. Well, gee whiz, I'm going to choose painted minis every time because I love it in Mage Knight, and I would love it in other games. And it's put me off on other games. Okay, now I want to talk about the rule books and what I hate about them. And it's the micro-sized font that they use in these rule books. It's so terrible. Here's the thing, I literally have to wear a magnifying glass with a light around my neck. It's got a strap on it, and when I read this rule book, because it's so small, the print font size is so horrible. It's terrible. Unless you got really, really good eyesight or really, really good glasses, which I do now. I just came home from the eye doctor picking up my glasses, and I can read this now. But it's still small, and it makes me mad. Who makes that decision? Fine, it would have 2 extra pages if you made a large font for people. Come on, give me a break. Such bad decision making in board gaming just drives me crazy. Okay, anyway, that's Mage Knight. I love this game. It's my fantasy adventure board game. I don't have any other games of this type, but I love Mage Knight. It's my favorite. It should be up way higher on Board Game Geek than it is. Okay, now we're going to talk about games that are a little on the light side, that you might not believe that we play and that we own. I'm going to talk about this one right now. It's called Home, Sherlock and Mycroft. And this is a worker placement game by Diego Ibanez. And this plays 2 players only. and it comes with a little board. I'll show you what's in the box. What the heck? That's all there is to this game, not much. There you go. It comes with a board, and you're going to have character cards that you're going to put out on the board, and each character does a different action. You have meeples, blue and orange, because it's only a two-player game, and you're going to choose those actions. You're going to try to use these investigation markers that look like a magnifying glass. And then you have a deck of cards, all different colors, and it's a set collection game. So you're going to go through this board, placing your meeples to take those actions, and you got to move them on the next round. So when you take that action this round, you got to move off of that card and choose another card or another action, because you can't do the same one twice. And then at the end of that round, those cards are turned over wherever those meeples are, and they're exhausted, and you can't use them in the next round. So that's something you have to think about too. So this game came out in 2015. We've had it since then. And we play this game when we don't feel like playing something big and meaty. You know, you can get this out and play this game and not have to think really, really hard. It's just fun. And I love this game. You know, I have Z Garcia over at Dice Tower to thank for that. He did a review of this game and said he liked it. And I thought, you know what, a little two-player game like that, and I love Sherlock Holmes. I love the Victorian era. I'm a sucker for that. And Sherlock Holmes I really, really like. So I wanted to try this game. We picked it up and we liked it immediately, and we've played it and played it and played it, folks. That is a nice little game. Very quick. Takes us about 20 minutes. And that's by DeVere Games, I think it's called. You can pick this up very cheaply and get so much enjoyment if you just play with a partner or spouse or something, and just two-player only game. It's absolutely fabulous. I love it. That's Holmes, Sherlock, and Mycroft. All right, here's the game that'll freak you out that I own. Have you ever seen that game? Gobblet? I love this game. We've had this game for ages, and I don't even know when this game, 2000. Yeah, it came out from 2000, and it's from Blue Orange Games. I love this game. The packaging is amazing. It's a wooden box. It's got a lid that slides off, and that's what's inside. And I'll show you that in a minute. But here's our little cheater notes. I told you guys we got little notes that we pull them out and we read those right before we play the game. This says, Gobblet, get 4 in a row horizontally or vertical to win, or diagonally. Must play them in order size, large to small. If moving on the board, must lift them to ensure you are only moving one piece. You may gobble up your own pieces. And on your turn, you put the goblet on an empty space, move an existing goblet to any empty space, and gobble a smaller goblet with a larger one. And once you touch a goblet on the board, you got to move that one. So we write those down on here, so hey, we read those real briefly, then we get the game out, and the lid I just slid off, that's the board. Alright, I'm going to scoot this mage out of the way. I hope that's not interfering. There we go. And then you simply take these goblets and lay them here. Again, two-player only game. And this is an abstract strategy game. Look at that box. That's so nice. And this is available still. I think it's $26, $27 on Amazon right now. Hardwood box, very well built. The board is beautiful, and it's, like I said, it slides on there and it's the lid. And then you simply set the board up like this. Inside each one of these are 4 different size of these goblets. And you have to play them in order. In other words, when it's my turn, I have to take one off the top and place it on the board, wherever I think I want to start. And then you just take turns putting those on the board. Once you uncover the smaller ones, you can start putting those out if you wish. And then when you're on the board, you can just gobble up other players like that. You can gobble them up. And you are trying to get 4 in a row. It's so difficult. It makes you think pretty hard, and it goes very quickly. It's a wonderful game, Lauren. I still love playing it after all these years. It's quick, and you don't have to set a bunch of things up. It's so wonderful. Sometimes you just feel like that. And that's okay when you're gaming. You're not always going to feel like you want to play a great big board game. That's just the way life is. It's like anything else. That's Gobblet. Oh, I love that game. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on to Timeline Challenge, designed by Frederick Henry and Cyril Demaged. I don't know. I hope I said his name right. We played it one time and just enjoyed it from the get-go. And this is a game about history. I think everyone should play this game because it is so much fun and you learn so much from playing it. It's such a wonderful experience, Timeline Challenge. And you can take the rule book out. I'll show you what's in this box real quick. I'll show you the board in a second. But here's some of the things that are in the game. I think there's like 100 and some history cards. And then you have 5 avatar pieces. You have an airplane, this cute clipper ship. It's kind of cool. They're all gold. The shuttle, a car, and a locomotive. Those are the pieces in the game that you use, your player avatars. And then down here are your programming boards. So you have programming boards. All right, I'm taking these out too. And you also have player aids for everybody. And I like that. And I'll show you how that works in a second. Okay, so that's that. That's what's in this box. And this is the board. It's a rather large board. And that's what it looks like. Hopefully you can see that, you guys. This is the clock, okay? And everybody starts right here, and you're going to move around this way, and once you get to the center where it's like a black and white checkered flag, that's the finish. You want to get there first. And this is the timeline up here, and that's what you're going to use to program your boards, and I'll tell you what I'm talking about. And then you have 5 different tiles that are on this board, and they're all different, but they all have to do with history. And how you place them is how you play this game. This card tells you all the trials. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It'll tell you all the trials. In one case, you have to guess the closest date to when that invention occurred. Or another trial maybe is you have 2 cards and you have to guess how many years between those 2 inventions. You have to guess that on your programming board. And what's another one you have? Let's see. Oh, there's one called The Bet. Each player secretly programs on the historical board the space they believe to be the card's correct position on the timeline. So that's pretty cool. Oh, and one of them is you draw 4 cards, put them on that trial space on the board, and then you have to, on your programming board, put them in order as to when you think they occurred in history. And that's pretty cool. It's such fun. You will learn so much about it. Hey, I'm asking you right now, when was the first McDonald's opened? That's one of the cards in the game. I didn't know, but I know now. So that's what makes this game fun. Anybody that has middle schoolers in your life, whether they're your children or grandchildren, this game is a must play. It's so cool. Yeah, these are the little programming boards, and they got wheels and icons here that match icons on the timeline, and you're just going to turn those wheels and program this board to give the best guess that you have about when those events occurred. And it's just a cool game. We like it a lot. And here's another thing I like about it. You can buy these little boxes of cards that go with it and expand how many cards you have to play the game. Or, in our case, we just take this to the airport when we're flying somewhere, and you see these decks of cards, and then what you do is you just take them out, and you can lay them, you put 1 card on the board. Each card has an invention on the front. Like this one says, Wilt Chamberlain scores 100 points in a single game. Well, this one's called Americano, so it's a little different. And then on the back, it has the date that he did that. So what you would do is put that on the board, and then the next card you draw, you have to put in order. In other words, is that going to happen, this next card you draw, did it happen after Wilt Chamberlain scored the 100 points or before Wilt Chamberlain scored the 100 points? And this card says Disneyland, the first Disney theme park opens. So was that before Wilt Chamberlain scored 100 or after? And you just keep putting those in the timeline the best you can, and that's how you play without the board. And you can integrate these into the board game itself. So that's pretty cool. We really like that. I think there's like, I don't know how many of these there are. There's quite a few of these little tin boxes that you can get from Timeline, but it's pretty awesome. Yeah, so that's Timeline Americana, and we use that when we play our game sometimes. Gives us a little bit more variety. This box says it plays 2 to 10 players, and that's if you're on teams. But yes, that's 2 to 10, 10 and up, 30-minute, half-hour game, and that's reasonably close. I played this with my sister and her family, and it goes great. So yeah, a lot of fun. Timeline challenge. Again, it's not a hard game, but games don't always have to be hard to be good. This is a fun game, Timeline Challenge from Asmodee. We really enjoy it. Boom, I'll put it over there. There we go. All right, next game on the agenda, a game from Ralph Zerlinde, and if you watch my videos, you know who he is, and Wolfgang Senkter, and it's called Animals on Board. It's from Stronghold Games. Ralph Zerlinde, he did Milestones and Pergamon and Finca. All three of those games are still in our library. We really love Ralph Zerlinde as a board game designer. And we love Animals on Board. It's about animals on the ark. Isn't that pretty cool? And the reason why I like this game so much is it's simple, but it's an I split, you choose mechanic, which doesn't come into play in very many board games. Hanama Koji is the one that jumps into my head right now, and it's one of the things I love about Hanama Koji. It's in my top 10 of all time. But Animals on Board uses that mechanic. I'm going to split tiles, and you're going to choose which pile you want. And you just keep doing that. And it's a set collection game, like you would think it would be for the Ark, and you keep those animal tiles on your Ark. There you go. It's got little rows of, get a bunch of tiles in here. And everybody gets an ark. Some beautiful animal tiles. Yeah. It's a fun, quick little, I guess, filler game. It's just a good time. We've enjoyed it. We bought this initially to play with our grandchildren and ended up really liking it. Our grandchildren are growing up. We have 4 grandkids and they're growing up. But you know what? I still like playing this game. I told her, don't get rid of that game. I like playing it. We really enjoyed it with them, and now we enjoy it with each other. I love telling you about this game. It's for 2 to 4 players, 20 to 30 minutes. Sometimes a 30-minute game is all you want. And as long as it's fun, it's worth playing. There you go, Animals on Board. I love it. All right, this is a game, that came out in 2020. Yeah, I think 2020. And it's called Unicorn Fever. The designers are Lorenzo Silva and Lorenzo Tucci Sorrentino. From, I don't know what that publisher is, HG Games. Horrible Games. The publisher is Horrible Games. 14 and up, 2 to 6 players in 40 minutes. I love this game. We were at a convention and I saw this in the library and I saw the picture on the front and I told Lori, hey, this looks ridiculous, let's play it. So we called Horrible Guild. Oh, Horrible Guild Games. I'm sorry, Lori just corrected me. It's Horrible Guild Games. So we took it out of the library and read the rule book and played it. We found out later this is a reskinning of Horse Fever. So it's called Unicorn Fever now, but it's called Horse Fever, and it came out 2009-ish, I believe. It looks kind of like a children's game, but for those of you thinking of buying this for kids, don't. It's a gamer's game. There's enough going on to where kids, I don't think, would have fun playing this game. But you can affect this race in a number of different ways. And you're racing unicorns. You have an action selection mechanism, which I think there are 5 tiles on the board, and you take that tile if you're choosing that action. And then nobody else can take that action in the most cases. But you take that tile and you're going to do that action. And once everybody takes 3 actions, the race starts. On the back of the board game box, you can see how things work here. You have the racetrack itself, the rainbow, and the unicorns are going to start down here and race up the rainbow. And it uses a card mechanic to vault those unicorns up the rainbow racetrack. And you just turn over a card and it tells you how many spaces each one of those colors of unicorns is going to move. But at the beginning of the race, you play magic cards to affect how they move. You can get contract cards from unsavory character clans that are going to give you special benefits, so that has an effect on the game. And the object of the game is to get the most glory, and it's very close. Lori and I played this, and she had 20, or I had 20 glory, and she had 19. And the only reason I won was just luck. This game is very lucky. Don't go into it thinking you're going to control this game, because you're not. It's like Camel Up. You never know who's going to win. But sometimes that's the fun. And even with the 2 of us, we're cheering for our unicorns. Go! And you have sprint dice also that you can roll. It's a D6, and it has the color of each unicorn on every side, so the yellow or green or red or orange and so forth. When you roll those 2 dice, whichever those colors turn up, they go, it's called a sprint dice, but they move 1 space forward on top of all the movement from their cards. So it's pretty cool. I really, really enjoy it. Again, came out in 2020. It's such a good time. Geez. Again, it's not a game that's going to win any kind of an award for complexity, and it's not going to make your brain burn, but you know what? The bottom line is it's fun, and I enjoy playing it, and that's Unicorn Fever. Next game I want to talk about is Star Wars Risk. It has nothing to do with Risk. I forget when this game came out. This is the Black Edition, and we love Star Wars, so we picked this game up. Okay, this is a re-implementation of the Queen's Gambit, but Laura and I are big fans of Star Wars. I don't know if you've seen a video where I've said this, but we were at the midnight showing of the A New Hope, or whatever the first episode of Star Wars was. So we've been fans ever since then, and I've really wanted a good Star Wars game, and I haven't been able to find one that I really like. She had purchased Star Wars Rebellion for me as a gift one time, and we played it 3 times, and it just wasn't for us. You know, I don't like hidden movement games. You know, it just wasn't for us. So we got rid of it, and we just kept this one. We had this one already, and I really, really enjoy playing this game. It's light, it's quick, and the production's really nice. I mean, you've got this board that once you get it all out, it's shaped like a TIE fighter. You got a couple of wings that go over here, and there's things that are going on those wings. What's this one? Yeah, there we go. Those are the wings. And you got on one wing, I think, yeah, it's the Battle of Endor, and the other one is, I think, Luke against Darth Vader. So there's 2 things going on the wings. And then you have the little ships that you're trying to move around space to deal with the Death Star. Here we go. Yeah. So there's that. I got that back in because I want to show you what else is in here. So you take that out, and then this is what it looks like on the inside. You have a couple decks of real nice quality cards. You have all these plastic ships that you're going to use. You have 5d6 dice that you use in the game, and then you have these really nice miniatures. There's the Death Star, and where's everything else out?
Underneath.
Okay. Oh, no, not there.
No, under the cards.
There's the Death Star, there's the Millennium Falcon, and there's the Imperial Cruiser. So that's pretty cool. Again, cards are wonderful quality, and I use these little Lego characters to, there's Darth Vader, and there's Luke. there's one of the Ewoks. Yeah, we have a good time playing this game. And it was inexpensive. I got it for $30 or something like that at the time on Amazon. I don't think you can get away with that now. Anyways, I think this game is kind of, I guess it's hard to get your hands on this right now. I thought the production was pretty nice in this game, and it's a fun enough game. We do have a couple of house rules that we use in this game to make it a little bit tougher to play, because it was fairly easy, but it's Star Wars, and it's the one we like to play, and that's Star Wars Risk. I was glad to tell you about it. I hope you can find a copy of that. Maybe somebody that's sick of it, or you know, somebody that has Star Wars Rebellion that wants to get rid of this. That's what you do. All right. Okay, yeah. Okay, this game is called Soccero, and Soccero is a soccer game. You can see on the back, and you have all these plastic miniature soccer players, and you play 11sies on, you know, and play football. It has 3 dice. 2 of the D6s have to do with movement. The third D6 has directional arrows on it when you're kicking the ball, and you have to kick it in that direction, and the players are playing on a grid, so you can track where you're supposed to be kicking the ball very easily by using the grid. And I really enjoy playing this game because I play it with my son. We raised him playing soccer. He played all the way through middle school and high school, and he's a big fan of the game anyway. And speaking of that, I just backed a Kickstarter called 11 that is about managing a football team. So I really, really enjoy this game. It's one we've kept for a long time. We backed the game on GameFound. I said Kickstarter, I'm sorry. It's GameFound. But yeah, it's Soccero. It's a very fun game. It's light. I don't know what to say about it. We just enjoy playing it. I like I say, I enjoy it when my son comes over and we get this game out, or we're on vacation together or something, and we really enjoy playing each other head to head on Soccero. And here, I'm going to show you what it looks like in the box. And you got the There you go. You got the 2 goals that go there, and your D6s that go here, and then all your players, you know, that go on the field. And they have these timers so that you don't take a long time to. Well, I think maybe that I don't know if that times the halves or whether it times the turns. I don't know. But then the board is. There's the soccer field, the pitch. There's the pitch right there. Yeah, pretty cool. I really enjoy this game. And again, I've hung on to it and hung on to it. I don't know how easy it is to get a hold of this game. It's probably not real easy, but it's a good implementation of soccer to a board game and well worth playing if you have the opportunity to. So that's Soccero. Okay, I'm going to move on. And this is a game that I bought because we thought we'd play it with our granddaughter, and we did play it with her, and she loves it. And it's called Dream Home. And I love Dream Home still. It's from Asmodee. That's the publishing company. It came out in 2016. And you're simply putting together your dream home. You have a player board that's a house, and you can see in the house, and you're going to draw cards in pairs. You're going to have a room card and a roof card that you're going to take in pairs, and you get bonuses for matching your roof cards and putting your rooms together in a certain way to score the most points that you can score. And of course you have to build up below before you can build over top. So there's a little bit of thought to the game, but not a lot. But it is a lot of fun. And you can put little special little things like a Christmas tree token and stuff that gets you extra point if you can acquire those. There's just a little bit going on that makes it so much fun to play. And Lori and I still enjoy it, the 2 of us, when we play Dream Home. It's a 2 to 4 player game in the base game, but we have an expansion that plays up to 6. It says 7 and up, half-hour game again. I really love it. That's Dream Home. Okay, let's move on. Okay, I hope you own this game because this is another fast-playing, lovely little game called Point Salad. It's not that old. It came out in 2019, but I love it. Look at the little box. Oh my gosh. And it's just a deck of cards. Yeah, these are the cards. Boom. Now you'll when you set this game up, you just make 3 piles of the cards like that, even piles, even as you can, even Steven. Now on these cards, one side is a contract, one side is a vegetable. So when you have these and you set this game up, you take these cards like this, boom, 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 just like that. This is the way the game starts. Now on your turn, you have to choose. Yeah, you have to choose. Do I want veggies or do I want to take a contract? Well, I mean, the problem is you don't know. I mean, you don't want to wait too long to take contracts because you might have started in a certain direction where the contract will be tough to fulfill. So you start taking veggies maybe for a couple of turns, and then you'll see a card that, oh yeah, okay, I've already got 3 lettuce, and that says 7 points for the most lettuce. So I'll take that contract. And you take that contract and you lay it off to the side, and that's going to score at the end of the game. And it's a set collection thing. You want to fulfill these contracts. The problem is when you see a contract up, you better take it if it's one you want, because when a player takes cards from here, those contracts come off the deck and they become vegetables. So the contracts are gone. It's that simple, folks, but it is a wonderful game. Lori and I absolutely love playing this game. As a matter of fact, the other night we played a game that was very complex, and it was a slog for us. And after the game was over, I said, hey, I want to play something that plays really, really good right now, get the taste of that out of my mouth. And we got out Point Salad and had a great time playing. I think we played it like 3 or 4 times, and you just keep playing it. It's one of those types of games. It's lovely. That's Point Salad. I'm never getting rid of that game. It's too cool. All right, another little game for 2 players only, Aqualin. Aqualin came out in 2020 from KOSMOS Games, and they're well known for their 2-player only games. 8 and up, playtime 20 minutes. This game is so amazing. It's just fun in a box, and that's your reef or whatever that you're going to be playing tiles on. And this is simply, again, 2 different types of ways you're going to collect these tiles. You either are doing colors, where you're trying to put the colors together on this board, grouping them together, or you're going to do animals, because each tile has the shape of an animal and a certain color. And you're either going to be putting animals together, like seahorses, get all the seahorses together, all your turtles together, all your jellyfish together, and things like that. And the other player is going to be trying to get all the pink tiles together or all the red tiles together. There's going to be a market of 6 face-up tiles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like that. Is that 6? Yeah. You can move a tile first on the board, and then you can pick up one of these tiles and place it. So you can imagine, because it's head-to-head, you're going to be moving your opponent's tiles. You want to do that as efficiently as you possibly can, so that when you move one of their tiles, you want to make sure they can't move it back, first of all, and then also when you move it, you want to try and make it benefit you. Maybe they've got all their seahorses together, 3 seahorses together. That's not all, I think there's 5, but they got 3 seahorses already. You can see they're developing that group. But you see that yellow seahorse, you can move it down the reef and put it next to your yellow turtle and yellow jellyfish and make 3 of a kind right there. And then once you move that down into that group, then when you take one from the market or put it somewhere where it's going to block them from moving that back to where they want it to be. And that's the way the game goes. Once you take a tile from the 6 tile market, you have all these other tiles. This bag didn't come with the game, by the way, but you have all these other tiles all turned face down, and you just take one of those tiles and refill the 6 tile market, and it keeps going like that. And at the end of the game, you score for how you did putting groups together, your groups together, whether it's color or animal type. And that is so much fun. This is what board gaming is about. It's playing board games that are fun. And this is a fun game, and again, it's quick. You sit and do this game in 20 minutes. And sometimes when I get home, or we come home, we're like, we've been away all day, visiting or doing whatever. We don't want to set up a big game, so let's get out something like Aqualin or Point Salad. I hope you give that a shot. Okay, here's another game that's crazy. It's called Captain Silver from Queen Games. You don't believe I own that, do you? I'm telling you. This is by Wolfgang Derschel and Manfred Reindl. I don't know those guys, but this is a really, really fun game. And this plays 2 to 4 in 20 minutes. From Queen Games, came out in 2017. This is a crazy game, you guys, because here's what it is. It is everybody's got a black bag like this, and it's full of a color. There's 4 different colors of these tiles. They're all different shapes. Yeah, they're all different shapes. So, what you're going to do, what you want to do, I'll show you real quick. We have a modular board. I won't show you the whole thing, but it's a modular board, and you're going to have, it's going to be 4 wide. Put this together. Let me see. Yeah. You're going to have 4 rows wide, like this. Like that. And you can see the shapes here that are on the board. And if you play that ship's wheel there, you see this little picture of a ship. Well, your ship is going to move 1 space for every one of those ships that you've put your marker on. You can take bonus tiles by the way your ship moves around that island. So that's one part of the game. When the game starts, you just go, ahoy, it's a race. I mean, you want to get these rewards on these tiles, but you have to be the first one to put down your anchor, or this message in a bottle, or this sword. So you're in this bag, and we have a rule: you have to keep it under the table. No cheaters, buddy. There's no cheating in Captain Silver. So you have to keep your bag under the table and blindly look for that shape. The other people are doing the same thing. It's terrible because someone will inevitably find the shape before you, slap it down on the board, and then you're like, oh, now I gotta look for a different shape. And it sounds easy, but it is not. When you're trying to look for that shape in the bag, you're like, is that the pistol or is that the sword? And the bad thing is, if you yank the wrong one out, it goes to the top of the board. It counts against you at the end of the round. That sucks. But hey, it's a good time. We get this out and play it. I really, really like it. It's easy. There's the gold coins. You get a bag of gold coins. And these are the treasure tiles that you get when you go around the island. You can see on the island here, when I told you about the ships, you have 2 stacks of treasure tiles that go right there. And then your ship, when I showed you that ship icon, it moves around here. And you can cross here, you get $1. And when you get to here, you get Is that how you get a ship's top? Yeah, you get a ship's top. There's 2 stacks of them, and you can dig through whichever one you wish and find the highest point total and take that. So you want to be the first one to do some of that stuff. This game is so much fun. And when and my wife found this game, and she said, you know, we might like to play this with the kids, and we did like playing it, and we still play it with our grandkids, and we play it still. I mean, I would play it with adults. I mean, it's a lot of fun. You get to laugh and giggle, and because it's harder than it sounds, and it's a good time, and it's called Captain Silver from Queen Games. Uh-oh, I didn't put that on right. There we go. Oh, it's just a fun game. Yeah, ever since we played it first couple of times, we're like, you know what, we're having a good time playing this. It's harder than it looks, and it's fun. All right, Captain Silver, next game. All right, next game is called Little Town. Little Town came out the same year as Tiny Towns. Of course, Tiny Towns was hugely successful, and we really love Tiny Towns too. It's a very, very good board game. But this Little Town is unique in that it's a very small game. 2 to 4 players, 10 and up, 45 minutes. No player boards, it's just a main board, and you're going to have a market of tiles that have special actions on them and special bonuses, and you're going to place those on this board and group them together, put your houses on them, so that when you activate them, you get the action, and once your house is on there, your opponent can also use those tiles to their benefit, but they have to pay you $1, and money's pretty tight in this game. Plus you have, we tricked it, Lori loves this game, she tricked it out with some resources, and you have 5, I think, builders that you use in this game. You have some bonus cards that you can achieve at end game goals. It's a fun little game. I don't see this game getting any kind of an expansion, but it needs one. We don't play it enough to have that be a problem. I forget how many tiles you have that come with it. It's not that many, but it could use like a expansion pack of maybe 12 more tiles. And for what it is, that would be perfect, because this is just a tiny little game. If you want to play a game that feels like a big Euro game in 20 minutes, Little Town, I almost said Tiny Town, Little Town is the game for you. We keep it. I've said this more than once to Laura. I said, I just can't get rid of that game. It's so cute, and we have a good time playing it. I just can't get rid of it. I don't want to get rid of it. It's Little Town. It's a little box. Let's see, the designer is Shun and Aya Taguchi. Art by Sabrina Miraman. Well, thanks you guys. Thank you, Shun and Aya, for a wonderful little game from Yellow Games called Little Town, and you can see the picture on the back of the box there. And you'll have fun playing this game. Trust me, it's such a good time. Okay, next game I'm going to show you is this is a mass market game called Sequence. Now, Sequence, my daughter-in-law bought us a game. It must have been for our anniversary or something, but she got us this game. So we took it home and played it, and guess what? We had a good time. And it's just a board and a deck of cards and some chips, and on the board, if you haven't played this, and it says millions sold on the front, so you know, maybe everybody's played it but me, but this is the board, and it has the picture of playing cards on it, and as you have a whole big deck of cards here, and you draw 7 of them, and that's going to be your hand, and you play that card for where you want to place your markers on the board, and when you have a sequence is 5 in a row, and when you have 2 sequences, you win the game. Now, some of the cards have special powers, like I think a 2-eyed jack is a wild card, and a single jack maybe. You can take one of your opponent's, I call them cookies, one of your opponent's cookies off the board. And that comes in handy sometimes. But that's all the interaction there is. It's just a fun game. What can I say? We enjoy playing it. We were up in Columbus, Ohio at my sister's not too long ago, and we went into a pub. We do a nice pub crawl when we're up there. But we went into a pub, and they had some board games in there, and one of them was Sequence. And I said, hey, let's play Sequence. So we got it off the shelf, and while we were sitting there having our micro-brewed beer, we played Sequence and had a really, really good time. So yeah, it's a mass market game, but guess what? I'm keeping it. It's fun. We sit there and play those cards and try to, I mean, you're trying to win the game by putting 2 sequences together and trying to outsmart the other person, or having the better luck in the game, whichever comes first, and it's just a lot of fun. And I think you can only play 3 players in this game. It has 3 different colors of chips. If you play a 2-player game, which is the way we play it, there's, I think the green and the blue are the only ones with enough chips to play. And then when you introduce a 3rd player, the red chips, I think there's only 35 of those. I think there's 50 of the others. And then if you play any more players than that, you have to be on a team. So that's just the way this game works. But hey, it's fun. I like it. I can see why. It says millions sold. I can see why. Hey, it's fun. My last game of the video, hey, this has been 16 games, I think, is Kingdomino. I love Kingdomino, and this is the giant version. Kingdomino is magnificent. We had the little box Kingdomino, and we loved it. But when I heard about this game, I was intrigued by it. Why giant? I thought to myself. Why would you want a giant version of that game? Well, because it's cool. But yeah, there it is, giant and you have giant meeples that you place. Look at them babies. That's pretty cool. But the thing that's really, really meant to enjoy about giant Kingdomino are the tiles themselves, because the artwork, if you have your Kingdomino game at home, you know, get the lid off and really check out the tiles. I hope you, if you have this game, you've taken the time to do that. It's got some comical things going on the tiles, and it's a lot easier for our 60-plus-year-old eyes to see on these tiles than it is the regular Kingdomino. So we opted to get this, and we still enjoy it. This is a 15-minute game, folks. I have played the new Kingdomino Origins, and I like this better. I'm not going to displace this game with Kingdomino Origins. Matter of fact, I'm going to get rid of Kingdomino Origins. But I really, really love this game by Bruno Cathala and published by Blue Orange Games. I just love playing Kingdomino. And play a 15-minute game that's just flat out fun. And that brings me to a point that I want to make because of this video. Don't let others tell you what's a good board game. If you have fun playing a game, that's what you need to know. Is that game fun? And that's what I try to use this channel for, is to tell you about games that are fun, that have a great design, that won't fall apart on you. And the ones I showed you today are games that Lori and I have a bunch of fun playing, and even though they fit outside that parameter that I set when we talk about board gaming, of a medium complexity board game, an hour or less, you know, we don't want any heavy games type of thing, then we have a few that we keep that don't fit in that mold. And these are some of them. There's 16 games I told you about. I call it a top 10 list. I love these games. They're all fun. I can confidently tell you that if you play these games, you'll have a good time doing that. And hey, isn't that what board gaming is all about? Is having a good time. So yeah, that's what this video is about. Thank you for letting me come into your homes and tell you about these games. I love every one of you. Keep on board gaming. It's the best hobby on the planet. Please like and subscribe. I love you guys for hitting that like button. Thank you so much for that. It takes a second out of your day, but hey, it's a second you never get back, right? I'm thankful that you do that. It's wonderful of you to do so, and I appreciate it very much. If you have any comments or concerns about anything, if you have any questions about any of these games, please ask me, and Lori and I will get back to you sooner or later. All right, see you later. I hope you enjoyed the video. See you next time on The Bones Collector. Bye-bye.